So look here, see, a brand new pair of Sony ANC earbuds have entered the chat. They are the most affordable Sony ANC earbuds to date, and they're called the Sony WF C710N. And the N stands for no noise.
Are you sure about that?
Okay, so I just made that up, but these do in fact have Sony's legendary noise cancelling and ambient pass-through, and at the price point these come in at, that kind of is a big deal. Now, I know you might be thinking you could get a decent sounding pair of earbuds with ANC for less money from a lesser known brand on Amazon or Temu or something. And whilst that might be true, truthfully speaking, the best advice that I can give you is a good idea to go with a well-known brand that's well-known for build quality and audio quality in general. That way there's less chance that you'll make a mistake and waste your money and end up like this guy.
You see this face? This is a happy face. You all would be lucky to be as happy as I am.
Anyway, I guess you want to know if these earbuds are actually any good. And as someone who's actually lost count of how many earbuds I've tested over the years, I'm going to tell you. And full transparency, Sony did not pay for this review. They did, however, send these over, but that will not affect my opinions in this video in any way. So let's get into this. There are 4 colors, black, white, pink, and clearly the best of them all, this one, the glass blue. And I know I'm stating the obvious here, but these aren't in fact made of glass, although that would be cool. It would probably be a little bit too dangerous.
Danger's my middle name.
Anyway, price point on all 4 color options is £99 at launch, placing them above the WF C510s from Sony. These ones don't have noise cancelling, but they're about half the price. And just below the Sony Link Buds Fit, which are around £150 on Sony's official website right now. These do have noise cancelling and also high-res audio. My first impressions of the case design, it feels premium and strong. The lid has a good amount of resistance to it. And because of this, if you do drop it by accident, the buds are much less likely to fly across the room or end up in a puddle. There's a USB-C port on the back as well as a Bluetooth pairing button. Around the front, we do have a LED indicator for Bluetooth pairing and battery life. And there's a nice bit of subtle branding on the top of the lid. And actually, because the case is see-through, you can see the branding on the earbuds through the lid as well. The base of the case is flat, so it won't roll around on the table, and all of the edges and sides are all rounded and nicely curved so that it can slide in and out of any pocket nice and easily. And yes, it does pass the Pocket Watch pocket test. Now, because this particular model is see-through, if you look through the base of the case, you'll notice 2 things. There are no Qi wireless charging coils. However, there is a decent sized battery here which holds 21.5 hours of audio playback power with ANC on. And of course, these particular buds are transparent and you can see the batteries inside them, and they do hold 8.5 hours of power in each bud, and they can be used individually, but if you're using them both at the same time, you get 30 hours total playback time with the buds and the case combined. Full recharge time on the case is 3.5 hours. To fully recharge the buds up to their 8.5 hours of playback, it takes 1.5 hours in the case. The buds design, like the case, also feels really nice and premium, solid and well built. The weight on each of the buds is 5.2 grams. And if you look closely, somewhere within these buds, you might see a Bluetooth 5.3 chip. Can you see it? Yeah, me neither, but it's in there. The buds are shaped to sit comfortably in your ears, and with the amount of research that Sony has done over the years and the amount of photos of people's ears that they must have by now, it would basically be impossible for them to get this wrong, and they definitely haven't. The silicone tips aren't the box standard ones that you might get with cheaper earbuds. They are actually made up of 2 different materials, which should help with passive noise cancelling and overall audio performance and comfort. And for me personally, these sit very comfortably in my ears, and even if I were to sneeze, or dare I say, go for a run, I'd have no fear that they would fall out. And they are IPX4 rated, so they are splash proof, sweat resistant, and rain proof. So if you are into working out in the rain, or maybe even singing in the rain, the Sony WF C710Ns will be alright. There are wear detect sensors on each earbud and capacitive touch sensors which can be remapped within the app. There's also 2 ANC mics behind these grills and 2 voice pickup mics, one each side for phone calls and things like that. Now, it's one thing to talk about the mics and the noise cancelling voice pickup algorithms and all this kind of stuff, but it's just better and easier to show you how good it is. So what you're hearing right now is the voice call quality on the WF C710Ns from Sony with no background noise. There might be a little bit of road noise outdoors, but now let's introduce some proper road noise right here to the side of me. So I'm just going to cut to the mic in the room so you can hear how loud that is. And then let's cut back to how my voice sounds with the noise reduction algorithms that these earbuds have. And now we're going to take it up another level and introduce some wind noise. Shout out to Qualcomm for this fan. So right now I've got wind blowing directly at my face, past my left ear, past my right ear. Sometimes with earbuds, the mic will only pick up on one side or the other. Let me know how it handled this extreme noisy and windy condition. So as I mentioned in the intro of this video, Sony's noise cancelling expertise is definitely one of their strengths, and to see how good the ANC is on these earbuds, I'm going to compare them to the Link Buds Fit, which are the more expensive model in the lineup. So here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to play that same road noise from the computer. There's a speaker literally right in front of me here, and then I'm going to lower the volume to the point where I can't hear the audio anymore, and we'll start with the Link Buds Fit first. All right, so let's start the noise. Full volume. All right, so that's max volume coming from the speaker in front of me. I'm going to reduce the sound. 50% volume, I can barely hear that sound anymore. This is how it sounds in the room right now. At about 25% volume, I can't hear the sound anymore in the room. Now the same test with the 710Ns. Definitely a good amount of noise cancelling happening here. Not quite as strong as the Link Buds Fit. Let's go to 50%. And I would say these are very close, if not as good as the Link Buds Fit at 50%. And going to the 25% mark, yeah, just as good. I'm quite surprised actually. I was expecting the Fit to be a lot better. So the noise cancelling is pretty damn close on these two earbuds, much closer than I thought it would be, but there is one big difference between these two, and it is the ambient pass-through. So with the 710Ns, you do get quite a bit of white noise. It's not going to ruin your day or anything, but you can hear this little hissing when using the pass-through mode. And with the Link Buds Fit, it's certainly a lot clearer, a lot more natural. So that's something you'd have to pay a little bit more for if it matters to you. So another feather in the cap for the WF C710N from Sony is the software side of things. They have recently revamped and refreshed their app. It is now called Sony Sound Connect. So when you jump into this at the top level, you do get the essential controls. So ambient sound control. This is actually set to auto by default. So if it does get particularly noisy, it will kick in with the noise cancelling. And if you want, you can manually adjust that. You do get some preset EQs. So if you jump in here, there's a bunch of different ones. If you like punchy bass, but not too overwhelming bass, the Excited is the best one for you. You can dial in custom EQs as well. And actually, if you jump in one level deeper, you can go to the Find Your Equalizer software and use a process of elimination to create the perfect EQ specifically for you and the types of music that you like to listen to. And if you scroll down, you'll notice you do get the ambient sound control. So this is where the phone and the earbuds work together to assess whether you're sitting or standing or walking or running or traveling at high speeds, and it will adjust the sound according to that. And if you jump into the settings here, you'll see you can enable the optimized switching for you, and you can even register locations so that the earbuds can adapt the sound and noise cancelling based on locations that you often visit. And because they are Bluetooth 5.3, you can connect multiple devices. So I've actually got two devices connected at the same time. Now, if you want to dive even deeper into what these earbuds can do, if you go to device settings here, you can create custom EQs manually. You can scan your ears and send it to Sony so that they can create a custom 360 audio profile for you based on your ear shape. And there are two settings that I highly recommend you switch on day one if you do decide to get these earbuds or other Sony earbuds. And it is this, the prioritize connection quality. By default, these earbuds will be on prioritized stable connection. I do recommend you set it to sound quality. That way it will always use the best codec. If you swipe down a little further, you'll see DSEE. This is a bit of software that Sony have created that upscales lower res audio. So if we enable that, now when we go back, you'll notice at the top here, we've got ANC DSEE. And if you are wondering about the codecs on these earbuds, they actually use the exact same ones as the Airpods Pro 2 from Apple. So it's AAC and SBC, AAC being the higher res codec. Now remember how I said you can customize the capacitive sensors on the back of the earbuds? Here's how you do that. You jump into your device settings, you go to system at the top, and then here you can adjust the single, double, triple, and long push and holds. You can also set up a repeated tap to lower and raise volume on both the sides if you want to. And there's also some quick access options here which you can enable. So if you want a double tap or triple tap, can open Amazon Music or Spotify tap. If those are your preferred services, I personally like Tidal just for the higher res library that it has. So overall, in my opinion, it's definitely one of the best apps out there right now. And also this now links with Sony speakers and things like that, which is really nice. You can kind of switch between different products and things. Okay, now let's get into what many people may consider to be the most important aspect when it comes to any audio device, but I would argue that maybe comfort and fit is equally as important when it comes to earbuds and headphones. Anyway, sound quality. So when I heard the Sony WF C710N were launching at £99, my expectations weren't extremely high. And I'm happy to tell you that these have surpassed my expectations and actually blown them out of the water. They're a lot better than I was expecting, particularly when it comes to soundstage and bass levels. There does seem to be an emphasis on the bass output on these, and I'm basing that statement off of the neutral profile. There is a lot of headroom for extra bass in these earbuds. So if that's your kind of thing, you're gonna love these. The clarity and the amount of detail, the audio separation you get in these are very nice when you don't go too heavy with the bass. If you do go heavy with the bass, the mids do start to get a little bit muddy. And that's definitely one of the areas where the Link Buds Fit, when I compared them, outshine the audio performance on these particular buds. But then that's to be expected because the Link Buds Fit do support LDAC, which is a much higher res codec than the AAC on these, and also much higher res than the AirPods as well. That's not to say that the AAC codec is bad. So if you are coming over from the Apple AirPods, you can expect a similar sound quality, but in my opinion, with notably more bass. That's just my personal opinion, testing these side by side. So if you do prioritize clarity when it comes to your audio, the sound can be very crisp and very sharp if you do choose the right EQ. The bright EQ is a very good example of that. It's surprisingly good if you want all of that kind of high frequency detail. The mid-range performance can sound fantastic as long as you don't overdo the bass. And if you are comparing these to the Apple AirPods, for example, what you get here for less money is equally high quality sound with a ton more customization features to play with within the software, a unique look, and very impressive noise cancelling levels. There's actually an argument to be made that these are actually better at noise cancelling than the AirPods. However, the AirPods do have the advantage of linking with the watch and things like that to further suppress sounds and things. But then these have all of the other features like the geolocation stuff and the adaptive sound control and the adaptive noise cancelling control. Anyway, you get all of that for a much more affordable price. And for £99, yeah, these are definitely a good sound investment in my opinion. And they're fantastic for anyone who wants a premium sounding set of earbuds with premium level ANC, but without that premium price tag. Now, if you like what you heard in this video and you don't mind spending a little bit more money, well, then lend us some money, will ya? There's a super thanks below this video. But also, maybe you want to check out the Sony WF XM5s, which are the flagships from Sony, considerably more expensive, or one of my favorite earbuds right now, and these are fantastic for sports and things, the Sony Link Buds Fit. Again, more expensive than the 710Ns, but you do get high res with those, and a unique kind of wingtip fit thing going on. And if this video did help you in some way at all, if you wouldn't mind hitting a little like, maybe a comment and a subscribe, because if you do that, that will make my day.
Okay.